you were in a short amount of time, or in a rather short amount of time, you went from pressing shirts out of your house to now you got a nice size store here, and we'll make sure that we give you guys a nice little rundown of the store of what's going on in here. But like, you know, what was that process of like from going from pressing shirts in the house, and I know you have another job, so it's truly a t-shirt side hustle.
Yeah.
All right, so now you have another job, now you went into the building. When did you know it was like time to get out of the house and, you know what I mean, just look for a location and actually eventually get into a shop?
Yeah, so that process was definitely, it was a marathon. It was slow. It was a slow process. I went from literally printing in the closet. Me and my wife fought over this closet space. She swore it was gonna be her shoe store when we first got in the apartment. I could sit in the closet and barely scratch. But I had everything in there, talking about hot. I had that heat press in there, everything was in there. Then eventually I grew out of that closet. Orders started coming in. I mean, word of mouth. I was like, oh snap, now I'm in the living room. Now she didn't have a dining room, I'm in the dining room. I grew out of the house, man, and then at one point, we moved out of our house and we were stopping with my cousin. I was like, dude, I know you're gonna help my family out, we're gonna live with you for a little bit, but I need somewhere to run my t-shirt business, you know what I mean? He said, all right, man, the basement's downstairs, you can do it. I was working out the basement. You see, there was some videos, I was working out the basement, man. That was in my cousin's crib. All right, so then, eventually we moved back out of his crib and we got back into another place. I worked there for a little bit as well. In the dining room, my wife haven't had a dining room or a living room in about 3 years because the business was growing. We had boxes everywhere.
Yep.
But, so 2019 hits and I told myself this year, I'm gonna grow out of this house and get to the next level, all right? It's not something, I could have done that forever from the beginning, but I don't think I was gonna make it. All right, it was steps. You had to be ready. I had to be ready to really jump out there and take up this investment. Like you said, I worked a full-time job. Like I get off of work at 5 o'clock, get home at 6. Like, so I wasn't ready for it. So initially, the reason why I was able to jump out of the house, because this year I told myself, hey, by the end of 2019, I'm gonna be working for myself. And to be able to work for myself, I had to get out the house. All right, I had to get out the house eventually, so I started searching around for a place. And when I found the place, I was still a little scared. I'm like, damn, is it time yet?
Right.
But I jumped out there. I mean, I jumped out there in time and got the place, and we're here. We
talked to the people starting out of the house. Now, what's the piece of advice for the people who are already printing out of their house and they're like, oh, should I find a location or should I look for a location? Can I afford it? Like, what one thing would you tell that person? Like, how can someone else know if it's time to get out of the house?
You'll know when it's time because you see the value, the business is growing, okay? The business is growing inside of your house. You're spending a lot of time. You have no extra time. There is no time to be on the couch doing anything else because you're all business, all right? So at this point now, you're all business, you're in full time. You need to start jumping out there and just know. Eventually, before you started in the house, you didn't know you was gonna be this far.
Yep.
So now, instead of us facing fear or being scared to do this and do that, just jump out there and do it. If that is the next step, I can't give you the exact time of when, but if you feel like the next step for me to move into something big is to get out the house, that's what you gotta do.
I agree, because somebody told me a quote that I'd never forget, and it was like, if you never leave to go to work, you never get off. Right. So if you're working out of your house and you working nonstop, you wake up, you on the computer, you might leave the house and go do some work or work your other job, but whenever you come home, all you're thinking is about, oh, I need to do this, or I need to go over here and do this, I need to do this, or something like that. You definitely never get off, like, you know what I mean? And sometimes, I know a lot of people have questions about work-life balance, you know, involving the kids. One of the things I like to do is make it a family business. I know your kids, and you guys seen them running, come through the video a little bit, but you know, you really have to find that work-life balance and everything like that. So I think that's some great advice.
Uh.